Around 1425, the Southworths built Samlesbury Hall. Sir Thomas Southworth shaped much of what we see today. Knighted for his wartime service against Scotland, he often broke the law. He also served as High Sheriff of Lancashire and a royal commissioner for Henry VIII, destroying Whalley Abbey. He restored the massive south range of the hall in brick, perhaps one of the earliest in Lancashire. His son Sir John inherited the land and hall. He was High Sheriff and an Ecclesiastical Commissioner who enforced religious regulations. In a period when Protestantism was the official faith, his job did not prevent him from being suspected of covertly practicing Catholic. He was punished, had estates taken, and was called to London to be persuaded of his theological faults. Finally, Sir John was imprisoned for his ideas in Manchester's New Fleet prison. After being pardoned, his stolen estates were restored. Despite this, he and his family practiced Catholicism secretly. In Sir John's latter years, local judge of the peace Richard Bretherton searched Samlesbury Hall for religious evidence. According to historical records, they found superstitious things, including papist books. A concealing hole by the Great Hall ceiling contained 2 candlesticks, an altar canopy, and 14 religious icons, perhaps for Mass. This may be one of the 3 priest holes the house possesses, which may be seen today. The Southworths sold their hall and land to Thomas Brattle in 1678 when their finances declined. The Brattle family never resided there, preferring Conishead Priory. The hall was rented to tenants. Over the following century, the hall was converted into tenements and neglected. Since its tenants were weavers and laborers, the absent landlords did nothing to prevent further damage. Preston New Route Turnpike intersected the south range of the hall in 1825 and is the principal route today. In 1833, the hall became the Brattle Arms Inn. This was a good spot on the new, bustling highway. After adding stables and a coach house, the hall was damaged during conversion and repair. In 1845, George Webster may have added the big stone fireplace, upgraded the chapel, and removed woodwork for Conishead Priory at Samlesbury. Webster renovated Bank Hall near Bretherton. See our story. More ownership changes followed, and by 1852, a Swiss Pestalozzi school occupied the hall. Romanticism motivated the school's emphasis on head, heart, and hands. Joseph Harrison, a wealthy Blackburn Ironworks proprietor, bought Samlesbury again in 1862. He built the west end of the South Range and the entry hall's spectacular stairway. Cotton workers struck over a salary decrease in 1878, causing rioting. Many men were brought to the hall, 50 military with an officer, 20 police constables with an inspector. The house's destiny was uncertain at the start of the 20th century. After Joseph's son Henry sold the estate and hall in 1918, a company of Blackburn builders acquired it to destroy and construct new dwellings. In 1925, the Samlesbury Hall Trust bought the mansion to preserve it. The trust maintains the land and has grown, especially lately. Samlesbury has rich Tudor heritage. An entrance hall was erected around 1530 to greet visitors. The fireplace in this chamber may have had an Elizabethan priest hole that connected to the sewer and moat. Joseph Harrison built the spectacular staircase with a double-tailed mermaid. The chapel was originally independent, but linked to the main hall about 1530. Here is a large window from Whalley Abbey, shot by Thomas Southworth. The chapel's carved wooden screen, which separated worshippers from the altar, was moved to Conishead Priory in 1821 and remains there. The chapel's gallery seats the Lord and his family, while the slaves pray below. The room hosts civil marriages nowadays. The 1400s Great Hall. The original design may have had an earth floor covered in rushes, a central hearth, and a thatched roof. In the 1500s, Thomas Southworth constructed the enormous bay window and fireplace. A big, adjustable wooden screen was at the north end of the chamber. The false minstrel's gallery above the south end has remnants. The hall was turned into the Brattle Arms Inn, and this odd feature includes bedsteads and other vintage furnishings. The upstairs long gallery displays the case, vestments, and equipment for a priest to secretly perform a mass in the residence. This intriguing and appropriate collection of artifacts shows how such behavior plagued John Southworth and his family. A replica Victorian kitchen, a World War I room with many artifacts and anecdotes, and a timeline room detailing the hall's history and current events are all interesting. Samlesbury Hall contains an art gallery, cafe, restaurant, large store, and antiques. Small goat, rabbit, hen, and bee farms and 2 artist studios are on the grounds. Visitors may now freely roam the hall since 2015.